take projection.
It's Friday morning, and you know what that means. It's time for another episode of the Alabama Slam podcast. I'm your host, Corey Hanna.
What's going on, guys? It's Patrick Akers.
And we want to welcome in our first guest ever, Mr. Stephen Efird.
How you doing, sir?
What's up, man?
Before we get too deep in it, I know you're going to be listening on Friday, but it is National 316 Day.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, so can I get a hell yeah?
Hell yeah. Does he show up? He's going to show up at WrestleMania, right?
He's supposed to, yeah.
With LA Knight? That's what it's going to be?
That's the rumor I'm hearing, too.
That'll be badass. We can get in a little bit. Well, fuck it. Let's go right into that because we've got some WWE stuff to get into. And I would... Look, for whatever reason this weekend, I was like, I'm kind of in on LA Knight. It didn't register with me at first, but like, I'm in.
Well, you know, the reports are like he's getting loud pops at the house shows, and somehow he survived the Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy fall into the cushions stage dive. Somehow. And he's come out the victor because fucking Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, I guess, are now gone from WrestleMania. They're off.
Yeah, that was one of the notes we had, and I didn't know until we started talking about pre-show notes. Yeah. You mentioned that it may be some creative differences instead of an injury with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I read. You know, as we always say, if these dirt sheets are to be believed, creative differences have forced Bray Wyatt / Uncle Howdy out of WrestleMania and the Bobby Lashley stuff. So
I get texts from Steven often that say, if the dirt sheets are to believe, because he's been listening to the show. So
well, shit, you never know, man.
Where do you stand on Bray Wyatt since you're new?
Okay, I'm gonna be 100 here. I am a Bray Wyatt mark. I've got at least two of them shirts, and I'm all in on spooky shit.
Yeah,
but this presentation of him is been a little bit weak. I was digging all the little vignettes they were popping up with, the chasing the white rabbit stuff, but the payoff so far has been just a big old stinker. And that makes me sad that I have to say that because I love the dude. He entertained the hell out of me as the cult leader that I think you were all in on.
Yeah.
I was behind the Firefly Funhouse stuff, but this Uncle Howdy stuff needs to have some kind of thing.
This is there's a lot of problems with storytellers sometimes, which is a lot of people are really good at beginnings, and they just keep writing beginning after beginning after beginning. This is what the Uncle Howdy stuff was. From the QR code and the White Rabbit, it was such a hot beginning. It comes out at Extreme Rules. We talked about on this podcast, holy shit, is this the best return ever? And then it just like nothing ever started. It just kept being the same old. And so now whether that creative differences is with Bray Wyatt and management, whether it is with Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley, maybe Bobby Lashley was like, I'm not doing any of this shit either. This is kind of stupid.
It sounds like that's what they presented him to both him and Brock was like, no, I ain't in this spook shit.
Yeah. And maybe Bobby was like, yeah, I mean, I'll try it for a week, and then he sees it happen, and he's like, nah, you know what, I'm out too. And could this be, the rumors are, maybe Vince McMahon is back pulling some strings in a way that, he wasn't, or at least they said he wasn't before. So we know Vince has not been a huge fan of Bray Wyatt. So could this be Vince McMahon being like, you got to get this dude off TV. I can't take the mask and shit.
Yeah, it could be. It's hard to say.
All that to be said, LA Knight has somehow come out of this an even bigger star. He gets the huge match with Cody Rhodes, Monday Night Raw. He looks like a star, right?
Sounds like a star. Let me talk to you, like he's got all the shit. And so, yeah, if we're in for some Stone Cold versus LA Knight in some kind of capacity at WrestleMania, I'm all in for it. Have you seen the pictures floating around on the internet?
What was that?
Some pictures of him and Becky Lynch hanging out several years ago.
I did see. Okay, I saw his tweet referencing where he was like, calm the hell, like we were just friends, calm the hell down.
Yeah. Could make for an interesting angle between he and Seth Rollins at some point. Yeah.
And LA Knight, Eli Drake is a dude that's been around. He's been around on the independents. He came up with the guys like John Moxley and all this stuff. So, we talk about it all the time. It's cool to see these dudes who have grinded for so long finally get a moment. really capitalize on it.
Where I came into him back in pandemic times when WWE was just, drizzling poops.
Yeah.
I found NWA Power.
Yeah.
And Eli Drake out there with him and Ricky Starks and Josephus and all of them. And him and Ricky were probably the two biggest things that came out of that whole promotion.
Yeah. So
I didn't know shit about him before.
We'll see what happens. Yeah. There's some funny pictures of like him and a young John Mox. I guess they were roommates, or they're just like looks like they're playing Rock Band or some shit. But yeah, Eli Drake and NWA Power. He's got a pretty funny promo he cuts where perhaps he's maybe a little bit intoxicated or at least a little bit buzzed. So listeners can go check that out. It's easy to find.
Yeah.
That's when NWA was actually good, and now they have Tyrus as their champion, which
well, they suffered big time when they went behind that fight paywall and lost. They couldn't pay everybody. I'm guessing is why you started seeing Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston was down there too.
Eddie Kingston was down there.
So so I think they just started having to pay them bills, and AEW was the money. And now
Billy Corgan was good in the beginning, and then like Smashing Pumpkins and everything else, it kind of tails off at the end. First couple albums great, and then by the fifth one you're like,
fell off.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. So let's get into the rest of there was a little bit we want to hit on for SmackDown Friday night. At the very end of the show, Cody and Sammy taking out the Usos. There's a neat little thing happening there with Cody and Sammy. What do you guys think about that situation?
I think to me, we've had it previewed. Roman told him what to do. Form your own bloodline. Now, it's going to be a rough one to start with because you got to get that KO back in somehow. But, that's what he's doing. He's forming his own bloodline.
I just think it's cool that, like, all these baby faces have to team up to take down the big bads. Like, that's the way it kind of should be. And that's an old school wrestling thing, right? You watch Memphis wrestling and stuff like that. All the big baby faces always teamed up. Like, one baby face was getting beat down and bloodied, and here come all the other baby faces running out of the back. So it's cool. Obviously, Cody and Sammy are the two biggest baby faces in that company now. And like you said, the KO stuff is lingering out there. That's going to get announced at any point, either Friday night or next Monday.
It's got to be sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's so obvious that I feel like they don't feel like they have to announce it so early. So, like, probably the Raw before WrestleMania in a couple weeks, KO and Sammy will hug and point to the WrestleMania sign or do something like that, right? And then you'll have I still think that's the main event for night one. I don't see anything else at main events.
That Jay promo, though, that was, I loved how he's laying out the case, and it's solid. And it's going from, it makes sense. He's going to protect his brother. That's his twin. He's got to. And then that lie that he believes where it's Sammy and not Roman. I was waiting for him to turn there a little bit, and I'm like going, come on.
I kept yelling. I was like, he's going to kick his brother. He's gonna kick him. Never did. It kind of let me down. I thought.
See, I thought Jimmy was safe, but I thought he might pull him in and be like, "Hey, Roman's the problem," and then just have Roman on his island, all alone there for a moment.
Yeah.
I think you're still gonna have Jey Uso still has to deliver the final blow to Roman at WrestleMania.
See, and we're going back to that Vince rumor. I don't know that Roman's going to go down at WrestleMania at this stage.
That is wild to me if that happens. I'm not saying I wouldn't be like.
You're not gonna fucking do it at SummerSlam.
Yeah, you put so much stock into Cody Rhodes. If you do not pull the trigger at WrestleMania, he's gonna feel like the biggest doofus. Yeah, and I don't know how he continues from that point.
But let's face it, Vince has a love for Roman the size of Triple H.
That is true. And that's the thing, we don't know how much, they said Vince didn't have anything to do with creative. He was just back in the building to facilitate a sale. And then, like, that Brock Lesnar Omos stuff sure does have a lot of that Vince stink on it. Why else would you do that,
I want to jump over to Raw real quick on that one, though. That crowd was popping for that, and that shocked the hell out of me. Just standing in the ring, the holy shit chants popping out on that one.
Look, we said it almost as a draw. You go on the YouTube views are all over the place. Every time that dude's on something, I'm probably not the biggest Brock Lesnar fan in the world. It's a cool visual to have those two guys standing in the ring. The match is probably going to be
Dog shit.
what it is. Yeah, it won't be good.
I
but
mean, you ain't gonna get the 16 suplexes on him like
no.
you know?
But I mean, it's a throwback to, old school, fucking here two behemoth, showcase wrestling. It's a shit that Andre used to do, where he just show up in a territory and
Andre
somebody
and Big
wrestle.
John.
Yeah. They just wrestle like, all right. I mean, I can get down with it, I guess. The crowd was hyped for it though. So
They were. I don't want to get to the end just yet, but some other stuff that we pointed out notes-wise. Edge challenged Finn Balor to a Hell in a Cell at Mania, which should be good.
So I guess we're gonna get Demon Finn.
That's he talked about his demons and his problems in hell. So we gonna get Brood Edge is the question.
Maybe not Brood Edge. I like regular rated R superstar Edge. I just don't know how Demon Finn Balor is supposed to be a heel. That's a cool visual. Like every time he's donned the demon face paint, he's been a baby face. So I don't know how that works.
I mean, that's a good point, because Judgment Day is clearly heel.
Yeah.
Well, is Judgment Day clearly heel, or is Dominic just heel?
Well, Dominic is the best heel in the company right now. We know my love for Dominic. I've turned a complete 180 on that dude. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The rumors have always been Finn is in line for a big push this year. Rhea Ripley, does she take the title off Charlotte? I think Rhea Ripley should be positioned as the leader of Judgment Day. I would have them turn on Finn Balor then if that's the case.
I would love to see Rhea take the title, but I mean, looking at the card of WrestleMania, that's one of the matches I think with the Bray Wyatt one out, because like I said, I love the guy, but every WrestleMania match he's ever had is with the exception of the John Cena deconstruction, has been didn't pay off real well.
Right, yeah.
But I think that Rhea Charlotte match is one I'm hoping it'll be better than it is, but
I feel like that'll be a banger. I could be wrong, but I feel like Rhea's primed to get the belt.
Yeah, I mean, it's always weird. You think, we talk about it all the time, sometimes the chemistry between dance partners just isn't there. You put two guys together, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura from a couple years ago, like, people thought that was going to be a banger, and it was just kind of like, whatever. Like, sometimes it just doesn't work out, so... there's three big women's matches on WrestleMania card. Yeah. Asuka, Bianca, and then what I guess is going to be the huge 6-woman tag. So, out of those three, which one would probably be the best? I would probably go with Asuka and Bianca.
Oh, I'm 100% on that.
Yeah, just because I think those two women are kind of in a league on their own right now in WWE.
The promo part of it hasn't been anything, but I think the performance part of that they'll mesh well.
Yeah. And I mean, Asuka has such a presence about her anyway. She's a big fuck you to all these people that think, oh, you got to speak English to get over in America. No, you don't. You just got to put on cool face paint, and if you're like a badass, people will respond to you.
She was coming out the techno thriller look that she had with that leather jacket on Monday was, even without the face paint, was a good look for her.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty slick.
Yeah. So
and then she did the blue teeth thing.
But Charlotte, to me, on who was it, her and Shotzi?
Yeah,
that was
the other
awful.
night.
It was. So that's what scared me, because I'll do the hot take. I don't think Charlotte's all that.
I'll say this, for all the people that gave, and we were some that gave the AEW women's division shit early in this podcast, the only reason we ever gave them shit was because of the booking, right? It was never the in-ring action. If you look at the in-ring action that happens in AEW women's roster versus
100%
that
better.
Charlotte versus Shotzi match where it looked like they were stuck in mud for like 35 seconds, AEW's rarely ever had a match like that. I can't even remember one, and they've never had a match like that between their big women's stars be that bad. They always deliver. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it could give you, pause for concern there. I just think maybe it's more so on Shotzi's part that she's probably not all there.
See, to me, it's always Charlotte seems to take lead, and I'm scared that because she's got that Flair ego in her,
And it could be. We could be sitting here after WrestleMania being like, "Damn, that was a letdown, wasn't it?" I mean, it's bound to happen.
I mean, I figured the only reason they put the belt on her anyway was that so Rhea's first title could be a prominent one over somebody like Charlotte and give her a little shine. The match itself may not be great, but being able to say that her first title was over Charlotte gives it a little more glow.
What was Ronda's problem with WrestleMania? They pulled her. I mean, because that would have been a hell of a match too.
Yeah,
she sucks and nobody wants to see her.
I mean, she was getting like the Gonzalez match, or what is Rodriguez match. That one was good for a Ronda match. It was a good match.
Yeah,
and to me, that's a bigger win for Rhea than.
Yeah, I think I heard that like Ronda and Baszler are supposed to team up to take the tag titles at WrestleMania, but I don't know why you want to extract the tag titles out of that 6-woman tag match. Like you to me, you would want Becky and Lita to have the titles going into that match, especially if you're going to try to set up, because then you can do the heel turn. Trish turns on Becky and cost Becky the tag team the titles after WrestleMania, after they have this big 6-woman match.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have too much. Like, Bayley doesn't have anything to do outside of WrestleMania. Like, you just want those. I think you want those belts inserted in that match somehow.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cody's promo, he was pretty fired up.
I think the key with Cody is you let him do the match first, so he's out of breath, and so he's able. He's not focused on what he's trying to say so much as just the feeling that he's got there. I think that one was more of an unscripted Cody one.
That may be. He may have just unlocked the key.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, oh, he's out of breath, and he's not doing. He still had a little bit where he's like doing the pause and turn into the WrestleMania sign, but to me that was his best promo he's had since he's been in WWE.
It felt natural.
It felt natural, and it was also a callback to what his dad did best, and it's a classic babyface move to be like, I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing this for us. And his dad was the best one. That Hard Times promo that we talked about, there's a part in it where Dusty basically turns into a Southern Baptist preacher, and he's like, I want you to reach your hand out through the screen right now. And like, I'm gonna take the title for all of us, and like that's basically what Cody did.
All right, I'm gonna sound, because I am the noob in this room, and I've only been back into it for a few years, but I've read the lyrics to Cody's theme the other night, this theme song.
Yeah,
I was like, what are they saying through this whole? Because you can never tell because the crowd's singing and it's fireworks and shit every time.
Yeah, but
the last line right before the chorus is "Hard times breeds better men."
Yeah,
and I just fucking laughed my ass off.
Yeah. That's such a smart move to have first of all, I'm glad you brought up a theme song, because when he came out Monday night, I was like, this is like the perfect wrestling entrance, and I think it was designed to be that way because it's got everything. It has a cool little lead up that's like an Austin-esque break glass where it's like wrestling has more than one royal family, and then you get into the huge guitar
drums.
part. And then it pauses to let you have the pyro, so now Cody can come out.
And then get the crowd of the whoa.
And then you got the whoa.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And he does it twice.
I want to detour half a second, and then we'll get back on track. One of my other favorite things lately, and this has been popping up on TikTok, and it's probably been there for a while, and I just now saw it, but is the people singing adrenaline in my soul, something Cody Rhodes.
Yes.
That originate? Where did that originate?
That was I think BTE with the Dark Order.
Because I had seen a bunch of other videos, and then I saw that one, and I was like, wait a minute, is this where this shit started?
Yeah, I think it was John Silver and Alex Reynolds were just.
And Jay-Z, you go on Reddit, and anybody that mentions Cody Rhodes, like if it's not the first reply about adrenaline in my soul, it's in the next three.
It's great. So like, Cody's such a smart business guy. He to have that song and to be able to take it with you.
It is a fucking great entrance music.
It's a great entrance song. But yeah, he was fired up. He got me fired up. I was like, shit. All right, I'm a little bit more excited about the WrestleMania match.
And I've got a soft spot for the guy.
I mean, I do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I've always just been critical of the performative aspect. You can just kind of see it more, but he can go in the ring. And then, we talked about how influential and important of a wrestler he is to his generation. I think he is the most important wrestler of his generation just because what he did, having the courage to leave WWE, go on this run in the independents, really, the renaissance of the American independent wrestling scene can really be traced back to him. And then, of course, he starts AEW. A competitor at WWE, something nobody's done in 20 years. And now he comes back to WWE, and he is rightfully treated like a huge star. I think one day he'll step back foot through AEW, and he should be treated as a big star in AEW too.
And I would say he is the best of the EVPs in the sense of not performance-wise, but I think he had the mentality that company needed that some of the other ones don't.
Yeah, I think it's probably. I would be fascinating to see kind of either like a documentary or a book be written about what the rift was creatively between Cody and Kenny and the Bucks and Tony. Because I think it's like what you said. I think Cody had a vision for what AEW was going to be, and I think those other guys had a vision of what AEW was going to be.
I just think their vision had a lot more of them shining at the top than Cody's.
Probably, and I think it was probably a little bit more raw and a little less polished. And I think Cody kind of wanted the suits buttoned up. He wanted it to be kind of more corporate atmosphere. And I think these guys are just more interested in, playing punk rock music and that kind of shit.
Yeah,
So.
I mean that makes sense.
But I mean, he still obviously has love for those guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's still doing the Too Sweet and the gun, which is clearly a callback to those guys, right?
I mean, he said in multiple interviews that they're his family, and
Yeah.
they might be separated by shows, but
Yeah,
And I would personally love to see the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega in WWE. I talked about that, a couple podcasts ago. I think Kenny needs it for his legacy, and I think it sets up such a cool story in WWE. Because especially if Cody's going to have the title, he's got to have challengers. And what better challengers than the people that you left? Basically left at the altar, right? You can play it that way if you wanted to. So.
Kenny's growing on me. I didn't have a lot of experience with Kenny, but
I think Kenny is amazing. Kenny's going to be one of those guys where, 10, 15 years from now, whoever's the best wrestler of his generation is going to be like, I just watched a bunch of Kenny Omega matches. In ring, he has always been just an absolute stud. Now, like you said, the rest of pro wrestling, the promo stuff, Kenny's never got that, and at this point, I don't think he's ever going to get it because he's 40. Some guys just don't have it like that. But in ring, he's just absolutely.
it's hard to beat.
He's phenomenal.
the Young Bucks, they are not even the best at what they do in their own company.
That's true. Yeah.
It's hard to be the best in your company when you got people like FTR.
Well, you put them up against the Lucha Bros.
Lucha Bros, yeah.
And the Lucha Bros outshine them every chance.
Yeah.
Put them up against the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed are, miles ahead of them in performance-wise. And I think,
which is wild.
Which, when your whole shtick is based around being able to be the best at doing that, and then suddenly you surround yourself with a whole bunch of people that do it so much better.
Yeah, they might have fucked up by bringing in Top Flight because Top Flight looked really fucking good against them a month or so ago.
But, again, it might be one of those situations where, you can trace it back to sports. Guys sometimes get paid for past performance, right? Guys get new contracts, and maybe they don't have the same step that they used to have, but they still get the big deals, right?
Aaron
the Young
Rodgers
Bucks
in New York.
the Young Bucks were influential to a generation of tag team
100%.
wrestlers.
I think you don't get these teams there without them, but
right.
Yeah, I didn't mean that to be shitting all over them. Maybe they're just fuck it, we're not the best anymore. We can give a little shine to people like the Acclaimed and Top Flight, because I think it was the Bucks that brought in Top Flight, right?
Yeah, and just the Bucks having going with Cody and doing that all-in pay-per-view where they put their money where their mouth was and really kick-started AEW. I think the thing that a lot of people probably have knocks against the Bucks is the perceived backstage politics, right? We talked about it. The Bucks versus FTR match should have happened, and for whatever reason, it just didn't. Whether that is still going on, I don't know. We'll see.
See, I would assume it is.
CM Punk clearly had a problem with something, right? So, this will just be when all these guys are finally done wrestling. That's when it's going to get really interesting. These new age, the shoot interview, the Conrad podcast that are going to happen in 15 years, talking about this time period. This is what'll be interesting.
Yeah, that'll be good shit.
Yeah.
So before we switch gears totally over to AEW, we kind of veered in there, piggybacking off the Cody stuff. Solo Sikoa over KO the other night, and then there was a little bit of shit after it. What did y'all have any thoughts there? There wasn't much. I thought there would be some more after effects or whatever.
I think you just have to set up that KO's being stubborn, and that's what that kind of was. Side note: has KO ever apologized for Sammy for powerbombing him when his first night in WWE? Has that apology ever happened?
Nah, not that I know of.
So why is KO so damn sour about stuff?
Because it's KO.
I mean,
Gotta have a little chip on your shoulder.
yeah, I guess so. I mean, I love Kevin Owens, but like, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, did he ever fucking apologize for Sammy for doing like? He's never said I'm sorry that I did all that shit. He was just kind of like, all right, I don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I love the continuation of him and his chair drama. Anytime he sets up that mess of chairs, it's him.
Yeah, yeah, and that goes back to a bunch of Ring of Honor stuff, that he was doing in the late early 2000s. I don't. Maybe I'm gonna sound like a hater. I don't know. I don't buy that Solo Sikoa is this badass dude, and I've kind of talked about this before. In stature, he's the smallest one of all the Bloodline guys.
But he's the toughest.
Okay,
That
yeah, but
Street
he's
Fighter. It's not the size of the dog. It's the.
That's true. Then he needs to be crazier. Like I talked about that. He's not. He's just stoic,
Yeah.
and they act like he's.
Yeah, because I thought Sikoa was going to be like a play on the whole Psycho thing. Like, maybe he had some fucking crazy shit to him or whatever, right? But they've never really like tried to elevate that.
I think the Sikoa goes back to I think it's a family.
Yeah, but I
family
thought
name,
maybe they
something
could
like
still play on it.
I just thought, I thought he was gonna be more of like kind of the way Butch is for the Brawling Brutes, where he's just like insane and they got to hold him back. But he's just got his arms crossed, but he stands beside Roman Reigns. You're like, all right, Roman's 3 inches taller and about probably 35 pounds heavier. So I don't know why this dude is supposed to be the enforcer.
Yeah.
He's playing Taz.
Basically, yeah, he's playing. Yeah, I guess he is playing Taz. But there's another dude like Jacob Fatu, who's in MLW, would be way more convincing in this role to me. Who looks like a legitimate fucking terrifying guy. So I don't know. Solo's still undefeated. I don't know what they're going to save that for. I don't know if they have really high hopes for Solo Sikoa, and one day he's going to have a match against Roman Reigns and take him down. Who knows? But the more I see of Solo, I'm like, I don't see what, like Umaga was a way better
He had bulk.
person playing this, yeah. And he's essentially trying to play the Umaga role, but he's not. I don't think he's filling it out properly.
Do y'all have any other WWE thoughts before we switch
I
gears?
got a question for you because I'm trying to figure out how I feel about this. And Ray is your first Hall of Fame nominee. How do y'all? I mean, I'm not arguing that the man deserves the Hall of Fame nod, but I don't know if this was the time to do it, seeing as how he's still active and like constantly active.
I think maybe that part of that was that they're using that as part of the storyline, right?
Yeah, and I get that,
Yeah.
but otherwise, I mean, it's close to you're in LA, so you got the close to Mexico angle, but
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he was going to go in at some point, obviously, but I don't know if maybe Ray was kind of like a break glass in case of emergency thing, and they wanted a bigger name star. I don't know who that would have been. And it didn't materialize, so they were like, all right, we'll put Rey Mysterio in.
How was it, like, I know what the eligibility is for, like, the NFL and stuff. Is it
It's just whatever.
Whatever.
It's a fake.
Yep.
I mean, it ain't even a real damn Hall of Fame. They don't even
Right.
have an actual spot.
Right.
It's just made up.
they're gonna build it someday.
They should, and I hope. I think it would be great if they actually built a legitimate Hall of Fame.
I mean, they've got the props to do it.
You have
mean,
to
they
go buy a lot
basically
of shit
own-
back from Conrad.
They basically own all of wrestling history for the most part, rather than like outside of like a couple of territories.
Yeah.
So all of wrestling history in America is housed within the WWE. So you can make a killer Hall of Fame. Batista has also been rumored. Midnight Express has been rumored. Part about Midnight Express that sucks is that Bobby Eaton has sadly passed away, which has always been my problem with these Hall of Fames, is that they wait too damn long to induct these guys. And that's with any sports. Like, when guys and girls retire from sports, you can just tell if they're a Hall of Famer or not. Just put them in. Why are we waiting? Bobby Eaton's passed away. Now, like, he doesn't get that honor. He doesn't get to go and have spotlighted at WrestleMania. And he's one of the most... Midnight Express is probably the best tag team of all time. And they're not in the Hall of Fame. Going back to Ray, though, like... I think you can make a case that Rey Mysterio is the most influential wrestler, maybe of all time. I think you can make that case, certainly in ring.
He's definitely the best little guy that has been around.
Well, guys just weren't doing those moves before Rey Mysterio came to the States. It just wasn't happening. And now it's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Springboards, all this kind of high flying stuff. And in terms of like influence, like, and I've made this analogy before quite a bit. It's like Hulk Hogan might be the biggest wrestling star of all time, but find outside of the theatrics of wrestling, which don't even, Hulk Hogan wasn't the first guy doing that, right? Guys like Gorgeous George and stuff like that were doing that kind of shtick back in the day. Find me where Hulk Hogan, anything that resembles what Hulk Hogan was doing in modern day wrestling. It's not there. You can't find it. I could show you a ton of shit that Rey Mysterio was doing in 1994 that guys are doing now. So, yeah, in terms of a Mount Rushmore of most influential wrestlers, he's up there, and he might be number one.
And I'm digging I like the contrast between, you got Corey Graves on SmackDown talking about the hard times that Dominic went through when Ray was out doing it, and then you get the opposite side of the story on Monday night where you find out the hard times where I didn't get my M class.
Oh yeah, Dominic is, bro, he's killing it right now.
Yeah,
absolutely killing it. I don't know who's been working with him. I'm so stoked to see Dom and Ray at WrestleMania.
So how did they get to that point where Ray finally is like, yeah, okay, we're gonna fight?
I don't know. I was thinking about this too Monday Night Raw. I was like, this storyline between Ray and Dominic could only work in modern day society. Because if this was happening in 1980, people would be booing Rey Mysterio out of the building to just beat the shit out of his son.
Whoop the hell out of him.
They'd be like, you can't do it. You're not a real daddy. You know what I mean? Like, you can imagine this story happening in like 1982 Memphis. And people be like, why is he just not kicking the shit out of his kid? Like, what's going on? Like, he would be a heel, basically. Yeah. But in modern day, like, this is the only time you can do this storyline. So, I don't know how they actually get there. They have Backlash in Puerto Rico.
I mean, Dominic said the line I thought would have done it. I wish I was Eddie's kid.
And that's a big one. I think what they probably do is they have Dom and Ray at WrestleMania. And Dominic and the Bloodline guys, or not the Bloodline, the Judgment Day people kind of come over and they screw over Ray at his big weekend and they get the win. And they keep beating down Ray, and then out comes Bad Bunny. And then you can set up Bad Bunny and Rey Mysterio versus Dominic and Damian Priest in Puerto Rico at the stadium show.
What is, speaking of Damian Priest, what's he doing on WrestleMania? Everybody else has got a gig but him.
Nothing. I think he'll probably be out there with Dom, yeah. Just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
And you do that for Puerto Rico because I think Damian Priest has some Puerto Rican, either he wrestled a little bit in Puerto Rico or is Puerto Rican or something like that, so you can do that. Because you got to sell out a whole stadium come next month, so.
Well, let's switch gears over to AEW. I do want to touch on a little bit from Rampage that I got real hyped. Was Mark Briscoe comes out and says everybody's been asking about the Ring of Honor tag team titles, and he's like, me and Tony got an idea. What did he say? We're going to get the tallest ladder we can find and have the Reach for the Sky match.
Yeah. And
put that sumbitch in the center of the ring. Loved it.
Yeah.
I was fired up. I was like, I may have to get that pay-per-view for that.
Yeah, especially if they do, if it's the only way I can watch Eddie Kingston now. Yeah. I guess I got to watch Ring of Honor.
So did Eddie officially get a match for the title at the pay-per-view?
I don't know if it was officially. I kind of fast-forwarded the Ring of Honor Thursday. I don't think anything was official. That's what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of... It doesn't suck. It's just weird that it's happening on Ring of Honor.
Yeah. But
whatever.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to dwell on that. I just got real hyped at the idea of the Reach for the Sky ladder match. So Dynamite started off, hit the ground running last night with MJF's Re-Barmitzvah, and then pretty quickly Jack Perry comes out, breaks it up. And I was like, okay. They've been saying Jack's going to get he wants a belt. He's been doing I want a belt sign. It's like, all right, cool. And then all of a sudden, Sammy's coming out, Sammy Guevara. I was like, well, this is different. All right. Sammy's out there, got a little promo. Then all of a sudden, Darby's music hits, Darby Allin. Okay, well, here we go. We got somebody in each corner of the ring.
Yep.
And the four-pillar thing didn't even occur to me until they said it on.
Oh, you didn't get it?
It just went way the fuck over my head. I hadn't thought about Four Pillars in a while because it was all they talked about for a little bit, and then they just fucking dropped it. But one thing that I definitely want to bring up was in Darby's promo where he starts talking about the backstage heat. And Steven had texted me last week, and he was like, hey, I've got a thing I want to point out about Eddie Kingston. So I'm just going to turn it over to you and let you run for a second.
So Eddie was out there. I quit. I'm done with this. This place sucks. MJF is in the ring, a couple months ago talking about how this place sucks. They're not giving me what I want. You got Sammy Guevara back there starting fights. You got Andrade starting fights back there. Everybody, you got the CM Punk drama. Everybody's pointing out how much this place sucks. And if from a business perspective, if somebody came up to me and told me that, hey, have you checked out this restaurant? And then I found people that worked there and everybody in that worked there told me it sucked, I ain't going to the restaurant. It's not a good marketing look to me, and I don't get why they keep giving so much airtime to the premise that their show sucks.
Yeah, Andrade didn't necessarily do it on air. He's aired his grievance. He did air his grievances on Twitter and stuff, though.
I got Miro, and I guess back there saying crap too. There's a lot of people, but it gets enough airtime that Darby wanted to point it out.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
It is strange.
It's a choice. AEW may be the home of the new worked shoot promo style, and okay. If they want to go down that route, we'll see.
As soon as the behind the scenes thing, the clip aired, you texted me and you were like, "Did you see this?"
Yeah, and that's the thing that's lingering out there too. If they are essentially trying to program for a wrestling show and program for a reality show, then okay, kind of makes sense if you want to do the whole, hey, this fucking place sucks, and I'm going to tell you why it sucks fucking Wednesday night after Dynamite goes all the way off the air, so make sure you stay tuned. But it is a choice to do it that way, particularly when WWE is humming along with one of their best stories that they've had in a while.
Yeah.
But it just seems like, that's a lot of bad marketing for one show.
Yeah, and we'll see if it pays off in the ratings, And we've talked about this too. I don't necessarily know if it's a great idea to go down that route because, who is the next Cody Rhodes that gets disgruntled and wants to jump ship to the other place? Could it be a Drew McIntyre? Could it be a Seth Rollins? Those guys won't come to AEW if they pick up the phone and be like, hey, what's it really like back there? And people are like, oh, this place fucking sucks, bro. Just stay. Just swallow it and try to stay in WWE. Because there's a lot of appeals to AEW, right? The schedule's way lighter. 1 day a week. If you can make, 3/4 of the money in AEW that you could if you went, WWE, but you didn't have to drive to fucking Idaho and New Mexico and all this shit on Saturdays and Sundays.
I think that's what Dax Hardwood was talking about when they're talking about, we're looking at all angles, but AEW, the scheduling is great. I might not be making the money that I would be making in WWE, but I ain't doing the work that I was doing in WWE either.
Right.
I might have more creative freedom over here.
Well, that was the thing Darby pointed out last night. He's like, AEW lets me be Darby Allin.
And they get that independent booking stuff, so you might be making 3/4, but if you can go to Japan and get the other quarter, And that
was always the thing, is you don't know who that next big-time superstar from WWE that's going to get a little pissed off, or maybe not even pissed off, but just be like, I want to do something else, I want some kind of artistic freedom here. Hey, but you're not going to do that if the backstage is as toxic as what it is. Now, like we said, it could all be a big ruse, right? And it could just be for a reality show. We don't know.
I'm still not 100% sure that CM Punk thing ain't completely at work.
And that's, that's the thing that's dangling
where
out there, too.
I thought you were getting with that when you saw that promo.
Well, if you watch the All Access, and now it's smart, right? They did that on purpose to make you kind of think. But if you watch that All Access promo, you'd be like, yeah, I bet the CM Punk thing, if it didn't start out as a work, it's business. It's probably got there. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the Four Pillars kind of promo, I like it. I like the idea. They just need to be careful, because I think MJF is going to expose some of these guys. And maybe it's good, right? We've talked about if Jungle Boy is going to take that next step, we got to see it. So maybe you put him in the ring across from an MJF, who you know is a superstar and has the mic skills, and see if some of these guys don't rise to the occasion. I think it's very telling that Wednesday night, who's the other? MJF got a chant for him. Who's the other guy that got a chant for him? Darby Allin. And I think if you're looking at the future, those are your two guys.
So Darby's going to be the one that gets the next shot, right? Because it ended with him, I felt like.
I think it's going to be a 4-way at Double or Nothing.
You think so?
Yeah, they'll do the four-way match. I don't know how you sell me that Sammy Guevara deserves to be there, but I mean, I guess he is a pillar, quote unquote.
I mean, what I liked about that promo is there was a lot of truth in it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, everything they were saying, but there was just little snide remarks, about MJF talking about how he didn't need anybody and everybody else had their Christians, their Stings, their Jerichos.
Yeah.
You got Jungle Boy talking about how the MJF stuff is hokey, and it is. I mean, he's a wonderful performer. He's a great wrestler. He's a great talker, but he's kind of got a one trick to him. It's, you're going to fight me, run through your gauntlet, then you'll get to me. You're going to fight me, run through your gauntlet,
if
you're
I
going to get to me.
have to watch somebody else go through another goddamn gauntlet, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, I mean, how much of that is, Tony Khan, though, too, not knowing how to necessarily book this guy. But like you said, it is good that everybody got their shots off, right? And like you said, the Jungle Boy, the Sammy one, the Darby's was good, and then MJF being like, too, I'm the only pillar that can hold this place up.
And he's 100% true in that sense, because he is the only one that performs the way he does in that group.
Yeah.
And like you were saying about it being exposed, I think, to me, I get that they're trying to. They just had MJF go through Daniel Bryan to elevate him, and it was a great elevation. And now they're kind of, if anybody can stand with him, obviously they'll be elevated too. But I understand there's two positions you want to be on a show. If you ain't the main event, you want to be the curtain jerker.
Yeah.
But your main heavyweight title is now a curtain jerk to your trios title. And if you're thinking about the top stars of AEW, who are you thinking?
I mean, initially, off the top of my head, right now, I'd say MJF.
I mean, it's MJF, and it's Moxley, and it's Hangman, and it's Kenny, and it's all those guys that aren't
going after your title. Yeah. They are not going after the main title. They're more obsessed with their trio friends and going after the trio title now. Yeah. So this is, I mean, your heavyweight title is now your television title almost, and that.
But if maybe MJF can make it. Your hope by doing that is, you need to elevate some more guys into the main event scene, and so maybe MJF can help pull these guys along. But you are taking a risk there, because you could have just easily have done MJF and Hangman. And Hangman just came off this huge win against the ace of AEW in a barbaric Texas death match that we all loved, and now he's going up against MJF. But
what about MJF
happening.
and Omega? I mean, that would have been a decent thing.
Yeah, anything.
I mean, MJF would have exposed Omega on the promo part of it. But.
Probably, yeah. But if MJF's going to go through the run of I'm the best wrestler in the world, so let me now start running through all the dudes who claim to be the best wrestler or who the fans think are the best wrestler in the world.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I agree that they are the future stars, that they've been there since the beginning. But that doesn't mean that you're ready to be. Yeah, all that they're trying to push them as.
That's a fair point. I'll hold off and see, because I thought the segment Wednesday night was fantastic.
Oh, it was a great segment. There's a lot of truth. It just scares me that your big stars are not concerned about your big belt at this stage.
That's a good point.
It's a good point.
That's a really good point.
I just kind of like, and maybe it's more of like the sports side of me coming out. I just like putting dudes in situations, being like, all right, let's see if you can swim. Like, all right, here, like, Hangman and Moxley have their thing. Omega's got his own thing. Who we left? All right, we got these 3 other young dudes. We know MJF's a star. Let's put them in a program together and let's see who we got. Because maybe Jungle Boy comes out of this and you go, holy shit, Jungle Boy is going to be a main event. Or maybe
he's getting better with a microphone.
Or maybe you go, fuck, he's not there yet. Like, he's standing across the ring from MJF, who he knows there, and Jungle Boy's not it yet. He's not ready. Let's move him back down and still work with him. And then you're gauging the audience, too, right? Sammy Guevara, obviously people really don't give a shit about him. just not.
That was a weird. I understand he's a pillar, but having him there and then immediately, in that last segment as well, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like, where's your focus? If you're talking trash about your partner up front because you're just a job guy for him,
Yeah.
and then going out there and getting his back.
And maybe I wouldn't tell Darby Allin when he starts his promos to tell the audience to hold their applause till the end. Maybe that's a little nitpick to be like, hey, maybe don't do that. Let them applaud. You don't need to encourage people to not make noise.
Yeah, because the crowd was hyped last night.
Well, they were super hyped for him when he came out.
The thing that he was doing that was driving me crazy though was during that promo.
Yeah, it's a little bit from the Cody Rhodes school of how to cut a promo. It's a very, very you can tell he probably thought about that too.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes a guy like MJF so good, is that you can kind of see the performative aspect of his promos, but at the same time it feels kind of natural. You cannot convince me he's not better suited as a babyface. The crowd was eating that promo up before all the other guys got out there. They loved it.
Yeah.
So,
and they were all over him. I mean, it's goofy but fun.
it's Flair shit. It's Ric Flair. That's his modern day comparison. And you can go back and watch old school Ric Flair promos. The studio cameras will cut to dudes in the crowd who are wearing suits and throwing up the Four Horsemen sign, right? Like, it's a time-honored tradition in wrestling. So MJF's no different.
Somebody out there with a damn Burberry scarf.
Yeah.
So let's move on. Let's touch quickly on a couple other things before we get to the main event, because I want to spend a little time there. They kind of did a little swerve last night. I thought Valkyrie was going to be the quote-unquote mystery opponent. So they had a mystery opponent, Nicole Matthews, right? She gets squashed by Jade Cargill. Then Jade says, anybody else got anything? And then that's when Valkyrie comes out. So, she got finished up with her Impact contract a week or so ago. And so I thought it was a nice little swerve. It caught me off guard. What do you guys think about that pickup?
It's another nice star to add to that division. She's standing across from Jade, who the company has a lot of potential in, a lot of stock in, and Ty looks like she belongs. So, yeah, it's a good pickup. I mean, anytime you can get these women, I think the women's division needs bolstering the most out of anything. So anytime you can go get a high-profile free agent to add to that division, I think it's a good call.
My concern is because of the amount of time they give to their women's division, you're stacking your roster pretty hard for what, 5-10 minutes a show?
It's usually one match in Dynamite and one match in Rampage.
But now you got Ring of Honor to think about. Ty would be a good person to bring down to Ring of Honor.
I mean, she's a solid hand.
And then you also have the rumors floating around that they might get another hour of programming on a Saturday show at 6:05. Go back to the historic TBS slot, 6:05. So, you need depth.
I ain't doing shit on Saturdays.
I just think that at some point Jade has to get involved with this Outcast versus AEW homegrown feud. Like, if you're going to sell me that this is the big feud in the women's division, Jade has to quit being siloed off from all these other women's stars. She's got to be brought into the fold at some point.
So whose side is she choosing?
I think you put her with the Outcast.
So even though she's homegrown?
Yeah, and you have the Outcast tell her, like, hey, you're too big of a star here. You don't belong. Like, this place doesn't value you. We know what your worth is. Come with us.
I mean, they brought out Willow and Sky Blue, and did somebody else come out last night? Riho. Yeah, duh. With their fucking pipe or whatever.
Yeah.
PVC pipe, because you could see all the way through it.
Yeah.
That's funny. I didn't catch it. Shit could just go flies way over my head sometimes. But, so they come out, and, that's even more people you have on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's, if you count the baby faces in the ring at the end of that segment, that's 5.
It's still weird to view Britt as a babyface.
I mean, kudos to her and kudos to them for just, maybe it was her call to be like, no, we were best friends. Like, I don't want to have a storyline angle where women stab their best friends in the back just because their best friend got successful. So if that's the kind of thing, I'm like, all right, I'm down with that.
Yeah,
Like,
fuck it.
good, and she's clearly over. People love her.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
just
I ain't
think-
mad at it.
I just think Jade Cargill at some points has to get involved in this main. She's got to be involved in the main feud in the women's division.
Thinking about that PVC pipe made me think about this. You got a lot of money riding on this thing, and you're buying stars anytime they come free agents kind of thing. Why are they not trying to buy better directors or producers or what have you, so that they can have their cameras in the right spots at the right time? Because that seems to be one of their constant flaws.
That's the thing that we've talked about is they've made some changes, some good improvements recently, but
I mean, they missed the cake.
yeah.
I mean, you got it on the replay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do a wide pan shot when you get to the main event, where you think it's going to be a pin, but if you're looking down the bottom of the screen, you're seeing Kenny's just standing there waiting for 2 minutes while to jump in. So it's like you're spending money. Why not spend it on areas that you would get your most bang for your buck to make things look better? So you're not seeing the cardboard on the crash pad. You're not having the death match, smoke bombs where Eddie Kingston has a heart attack because somebody threw a sparkler.
Yeah. No, that's a good point too. Like, but where do you go get those guys? Because all those guys and girls are in WWE, and they're probably able to make way more money in WWE. And against them, like, their schedule's probably a little bit easier, right, than the wrestlers themselves, because the directors aren't directing the house shows.
It's got to be. I mean, but there's tons of sports. I mean, you're telling me that somebody
That's
doesn't want to get as tired of traveling with NFL or MLB or what?
True. Yeah.
But maybe that's something where somebody's got to get in. By all accounts, I guess Tony Khan is the guy that's pulling all the strings. Somebody's got to get in his ear, and he's got to be able to listen, where they can say, "Hey, we need some help in this kind of areas, and here's the people who we need to go after."
I mean, that's a much smaller paycheck than having to try to get whoever's getting ready to look your Sasha Banks or whatever.
Yeah. But it's like with people, right? Like they want to buy the new couches and remodel the kitchen before they redo the foundation.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it's the shiny stuff.
Foundation's not sexy.
Yeah, the foundation's not sexy. So
That's true. Well, let's touch real quick on QTV. I didn't know what. I just thought it was going to be probably similar to Miz TV, where you put QT in the ring with a microphone or something last night. But I thought it was pretty funny. I actually chortled a little bit out loud when it goes to like the TMZ style video, and he's slurping on a big, drink or whatever in a big old cup. They didn't nail it, like you said, Patrick, before we were talking. Like, it was a little awkward having Hobbs just kind of like sitting there through the whole thing and then stand up and say something at the last minute. But I did think it was a funny premise. They need to work on it a little bit to pull it off. Just quick thoughts from both of you guys, and then we can get into the main event.
My biggest takeaway from that is QT is your go-to loser. And you've now partnered somebody that you're trying to make into a legitimate star with him. So, I mean, that title has been the hot potato of that show, and it's what when you talk about illegitimate titles, that one has no legitimacy at this point, and I don't feel like it's going anywhere. I think Hobbs is a beast and should be billed as such, but I don't know if this is the way you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I appreciate the creativity and wanting to do a segment that is not so reality-based, because that's a big thing we've always heard, right? It's like Tony's not a fan of these like invisible camera segments the way that WWE does all the time, which is why everything is tied back to there's a reporter or an interviewer and the camera's there, whatever. So I appreciate them going back to kind of the first couple years of AEW where they did more of that kind of stuff. I just don't know if you want Will Hobbs associated with that right now. So we'll see what they do with it. I think QTV it can be funny, right?
Yeah.
If they find their footing with it. I just don't know if you want Will Hobbs, the one that's in there doing it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be his whole angle is like, he at the end, he's just mad because everybody's sitting around joking, and he's like, fuck it, I'm trying to beat everybody's. I don't know.
But then he would just beat QT's ass, right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where it's going. I don't know.
I still don't see why they didn't have Hobbs just take out Samoa Joe and just assume the Samoa Joe role. See if Joe's going to be down in ROH.
Sometimes the simplest solution is the right solution. You don't have to fancy it up. It's pro wrestling at the end of the day. Like,
Right.
you can just have two guys come out and be like, I don't fucking like you. You don't fucking like me. Let's fight. Sometimes that's just all you got to do.
Yeah. So the main event last night was the Trios title, House of Black versus JAS versus the Elite. A lot of really good shit in here happened, and then some crazy shit talk online today about who was legal to win, and I'm like, well, why do we care about that all of a sudden? Because some of these matches are just fucking wild. Like, I never know who's legal half the time. But the big thing for me at the end was when Hangman and some of the guys came in at the very end, when it looked like he was fixing to get his ass beat by the House of Black, the Elite stand up behind him and make it seem like they're in his corner and are going to back him up. And then, like, real quick it ends because AEW, Tony Khan's the one running the clock, as he has said. Which is, I only found out recently, which is why the main event only gets 14 minutes instead of 20 sometimes. But yeah, I thought that was good because I think it was even last week when I was like, they were teasing a Hangman and Elite reunion a while back where they ran into each other backstage, and I was like, when are they going back to that? And then they finally came back to it this week.
Yeah, I mean, first off, House of Black, so fucking cool. Yeah. I literally would not have them lose for like years. I would just have them run through people. I think that is the coolest thing. Like, they've got the just right amount of spooky where it's not like the Bray Wyatt, okay, this is now stupid as shit, but it's like the spooky, and it's also like, hey, these are three badass dudes who look like they could beat your ass. Malachi has found his role, and he's always been a guy who has been really talented, but to me, just never really got there, could never really fulfill the potential. Now, House of Black, like, they're nailing it. And then, yeah, like you said, the Hangman stuff, continuing with Blackpool Combat Club. The BCC, way better as a heel group. They should have pulled that trigger probably a long time ago. And then you have the Hangman Elite stuff that's hanging out there as well. So I don't know where they go from here. I guess they keep... Does Bryan Danielson come back to the Blackpool Combat Club, and then you got 4-on-4? Like, I don't know what happens, because Danielson's still kind of just out there, but he's been so far isolated from the rest of the group. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because he's been doing his own thing with his, going for the World Championship title.
I'm with you on House of Black. Malachi back in NXT with the rising up out, stuff, but. And Brody, oh my God, that dude is just a beast compared to everybody else out there.
Yeah.
But to answer your question about why we care, because I want to have some kind of, it goes back to, you have to have rules that you believe in for your universe to work.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get it. It's just that things break down and get so chaotic in these big matches like this so often, and I've never seen anybody be like, well, who was the legal man until like today?
Garcia, I think if my math worked, I think it's Garcia. But there was some times in there where I'm going, when you're tagging in to do a pose and then you're not tagging in to do your finish, there's something wrong with your thing.
And that was the thing that FTR made a big deal about when they came into AEW. They're like, hey, we got to have these tag ropes, because they were like, y'all are fucking shit up by not having tag ropes.
And it's a Mexico lucha libre style of multi-man matches. Like, that's what it's done, but we just haven't. American audiences are not used to that. We've never done that way. People have been watching wrestling on TV now since the damn 50s. It's never been that way, right? So you're bumping up against a lot of hardline established, this is the way wrestling has always been on my television in America. Why is it not that way now? And yeah, like you said, they should have some rules. You can't just be fucking it can't just be anybody in the ring getting pinned, right? It happens a lot in AEW.
And if it's going to be the lucha style, at least, hey, this is going to be all you got to say is this is going to be done lucha style, tornado tag, whatever you want to do, whoever's coming in, who's ever coming out, kind of thing. I mean, you can do it.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of good in that match, but there was a lot of crazy in that match. I mean, I forget if it was Nick or Matt, but when they did the salt out, and it only got 2 of the 3, and the surprise fall kind of thing, and I am not a big. I get the pop of it, but I am not a big fan of let me hit my move, next guy let me hit my move, next guy let me hit my move, next guy hit. When you've got 9 people in the ring, that's just, you're just hitting that spot. You're just looking for your spot chance.
That's a lot. I mean, shit, that goes beyond just this match, right? That's modern wrestling in a nutshell. You watch these independent shows. For as much as I love GCW, shit, that's half of fucking GCW. Is that kind of shit right there. Let me hit my move, you hit yours, dive. I mean, yeah, it's sometimes old timers are right about stuff. Sometimes they're just old farts and they're yelling at the clouds. But sometimes, especially the dudes who are like, hey, maybe pull it back just a little bit. I don't know.
I think
maybe
that
it's
was
worth
the Regal,
listening to those guys.
What they needed a Regal in AEW for.
Yeah, but if you don't listen to those guys, William Regal, and that's by all accounts, if it's true, that was a part that rubbed him the wrong way. Is that these guys didn't necessarily listen, and they're doing it this kind of way because this doesn't happen in WWE, right? There's not these. The style is not the same over in WWE.
It's
that
different,
it is in
but you do have your culprits there as well. I mean,
right.
you've got I love when people sell. Don't hit a huge move. Don't get me wrong. Stu Grayson is a hell of a performer. Don't hit 2 pile drivers, one on the concrete out there, and then pop right back up and have a near fall with them. Pinning everybody in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna believe my fake fights are real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there were a couple of instances last night where I was like, I haven't seen anybody from the House of Black in like 4 minutes. I just kept waiting.
But that's an inherent problem in these matches, right? That's why a lot of people don't do them. That's why you go down the WrestleMania card. There's a shit ton of singles matches on that card because it's hard to do triple threats. It's hard to do 4-ways, and I mean. To the point that we were talking about before, for as good as that beginning segment was with those 4 pillars, that match might be dog shit because it's hard to just do those things because everybody's got to remember their spots and you have to do the thing where like, okay, I need to sell, but I also need to kind of look at the ring to see where we're at, but I also don't need to be caught just looking at the ring and not selling, right?
That made me think because Ricochet is one of my. I love Ricochet and he's kind of one of these culprits, but he does something that I love, and he did it on SmackDown where he takes a huge move and instead of doing the stand and wait for it or the back shuffle across the match, he kind of stands up for a second, gets dizzy, and then falls down because he stood up too quickly, but he's now falling into his right spot. So he sells it as I'm getting into the spot, but I'm doing it in a way that looks legitimate.
So who was I saw it's been within the last week. I know I saw somebody do it, just very clearly and blatantly just crawled like a foot over to where they were supposed to be so that somebody could hit their spot off the top rope. I was like, God damn, if anything's ever been obvious, it was that.
And that's a part of being a good wrestler that fans don't talk about a lot, but that is a huge part of it. Your footwork, your ability to anticipate and be in the right situations and not have it look phony. Like, that's a big part of being a good wrestler, too. It's not just, I can do a 450. It is, can you be in the right spot and make it look believable?
Yeah.
So
interesting. So do you guys have any further thoughts on anything else before we wrap up? No, I mean, WWE I think has the mantle right now, right, for best programming. I mean, the matches are what they are. That you're not gonna. The matches just are what they are. We've talked about it ad nauseum why that's the case, but I would say yes, only because of the Bloodline story and Sammy.
See, I'd say you got the Bloodline story, which is a solid story, but the Dominic Ray and the stuff that's
you got Dominic. I was digging the Chad Gable and Otis.
For being comedy, I love that.
I mean, there's a lot of utility.
I love Otis. I'm a mark for Otis.
There's a lot of utility in having those lower mid-card guys also be invested in angles, and that's something that AEW just doesn't do because I don't know why. I don't know if it's they're pushing their limits of creativity. I don't know if it's just,
It's still harder to beat AEW in the wrestling thing. I'll say this because lately, especially Monday night, I was doing something else, and I had Raw on, but I wasn't paying attention to the matches.
Yeah. And you don't really, you don't have to.
Finn Balor and Edge are in the ring together. I was watching. I stopped what I was doing and watched part of that.
Cody and LA Knight put on a solid match.
Yeah.
I wish I would have watched that a little closer. But I was trying to finish up dinner or something at that time.
The KO solo, it was a street fight, so it was what it was, but it was, that was a good one. I'm trying to think what other matches they had on.
But I typically don't just zone out during AEW, though, because the matches are so good.
Yeah, that's the AEW you got to actually watch the matches. But then, it's just, it can't just be wrestling for wrestling's sake if you're trying to pull in a lot of fans. Now, the hardcore fans like us, they're going to watch every week, right? But if you're trying to bring in the 1.5, the 1.6, 1.7 million people watching your program every week, you kind of have to expand this 10 out a little bit and have stories and angles and characters that people are invested in. I'm
in the same position as you, where my wife could care less about wrestling until you get a love story or something like that. So, you get the Matt and the Lita and the Edge, sold her. The Jericho, Triple H, and Stephanie, sold her. The Kurt Angle and Stephanie. If you get a story behind it, you pull in those 1.5s that you're looking.
Yeah. Well, Jamie's going to watch Mania with me for two reasons. One, the Bloodline. I think between you and I, we finally sold her on that. But in her watching it one night with me, she's like, "Who is this?" She got all interested in Rhea Ripley and Dominic. And so she started watching that, and she watched part of the last pay-per-view with me. Or it was the Rumble. Yeah, the Rumble. She watched part of that, and she was a little caught up. And she loves Rhea. I think she likes Rhea.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting. It's going to be 2 nights. A lot of stuff to watch, and that's what I told her. I was like, there's going to be some of this shit you're not going to give a flying fuck about.
Yeah.
But it's shaping up to be at least on paper, a solid 2 nights for a change.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if we get fucking Stone Cold versus LA Knight. I'm all in on that.
I would love to see it, but I ain't holding my breath.
I could see LA coming out to WrestleMania and be like, we're not going to have an LA WrestleMania without an LA Knight moment, so I'm going to talk my ish, and then the glass breaks, and here he comes.
Stone Cold's getting in shape. You can tell.
I think WWE, there is a desire in that company to step on the neck of AEW and attempt to squash it out. Now, they're not going to, but I think they want people to know, you guys can do your cute little 9-man, everybody does their flips, but we're doing 2 nights in SoFi Stadium, and then next month we're fucking going to Puerto Rico, and we're putting 20,000 people in that arena, and then we're fucking going to London in 2002, and we're putting 30,000 people in that motherfucker, and y'all can't touch us. I think there's a desire to do that. Now, we'll see how AEW responds, because I think that they have the one piece out there dangling in a CM Punk that they can bring back in and get back over the 1 million mark.
We've beat CM Punk to death. On our thoughts on it, real quick before we sign off.
I think obviously he's everywhere he goes. There's drama that follows. Does he move the needle? Obviously, yes. He got the numbers up for AEW. Would he move them even more based on all the press that backstage drama got? 100%. But at what cost? At what point are you sacrificing the health of everything else in your company in order to get that number?
And that's the gamble. That's it in a nutshell. You gotta look in the mirror. The problem with AEW is that there's one guy calling all these shots, right? So there's one dude who has to make that decision. He's got to look in the mirror and be like, is this what we do? If we want to try to make a lot of headway.
And how bad does he want it? And is this one of the criticism is he's playing a video game at this point, and he's playing my GM mode on
Yeah. We don't even know what the financials in AEW look like, right? Are they making money? Are they losing money? What, all that stuff's under wraps. They're not publicly traded, so that stuff doesn't have to be transparent. I don't know. I'm not predicting a downfall of AEW.
No, and I don't want. I mean,
I don't want it either.
No.
It has it's good that there's another place for these guys to
Competition,
work. Yeah.
I love wrestling, and I want to, I have suffered through the bad impacts. I have suffered through the MLWs. I have suffered through, the remake of ECW, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I will watch some bad wrestling because it's fun.
Yeah. It's just like we always say on this podcast. We can see the promised land with AEW, and it would be the greatest wrestling product, I think, in American television if they could somehow have captivating stories with this nonstop action that that they're able to do because of a lighter schedule. It's just, are the people in charge of AEW right now the people who can get us to that promised land?
To quote CM Punk, what was it? They just need to stop stepping on their own dicks.
And there we go.
Well, we'll
Who
sign
knows?
off on that. We appreciate y'all listening. If you don't already, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Alabama Slam Pod. We're also on Facebook. Just search for the Alabama Slam Podcast over there, and follow all of our fellow pals on our network at the Alabama Take. You can search just Alabama Take on pretty much any social media and find us. There's other podcasts there, Star Wars podcast, book podcast, pop culture podcast, sports podcasts, and the last one is This Song Sucks. Lots of podcasts over there, sometimes some other writings and essays and stuff on the site. That would be awesome if you could follow along and buy a t-shirt if you want. Go to tpublic.com and search for Alabama Slam, and you can get a t-shirt or coffee mug, a sticker, posters, a bunch of other shit over there. And Steven, if you would like, you could tell people that they can follow you on Twitter, or if you'd like to tell them to fuck off, you don't have to give your Twitter handle.
I got a Twitter, but I can say I'm awful at social media. So the fact that I have a Twitter is the only step I've taken.
I hear you.
My only self-promotion is if you want to take a listen to, I've got a different podcast myself where we do a library-based one that's a lot of author interviews right now.
Cool.
It's called Unstacked, and you can find it wherever you find your podcasts.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's been it. We thank y'all for listening, and give us a listen again next week. Appreciate it.
Later, guys.